Imagine you're born 30,000 years ago. Your tribe has 25 people. You've known every single one of them your entire life. No cities, no bars, no dating apps, no strangers passing through. In fact, for most of human history, marrying a complete stranger would have been the weird thing. So, who do you date? More importantly, who are you allowed to date? And if everyone around you is somehow related to you, why aren't we all horribly inbred? To make things even stranger, many hunter-gatherers may have spent only a few hours a day finding food. Which raises an awkward question. If people had that much free time, could they just pursue relationships whenever they wanted? Could they choose any partner they wanted? Could they have multiple partners? Or could they just do it 5 times a day if they felt like it? Let's start with the most awkward question. Why didn't these tiny tribes just marry their brothers and sisters? If you've known the exact same 25 people your whole life, where exactly are your future husband or wife supposed to come from? You might think they needed strict laws or rules to stop it. But surprisingly, nature already solved the problem. There is a weird trick in human biology. If you grow up playing in the dirt with someone every day when you are a toddler, your brain puts them in a family-only box. Even if you aren't actually related to them, your brain says, "Nope, we are just friends." You never get a crush on them. It's an automatic, invisible shield built right into your mind to protect the family tree. So if your brain naturally blocks you from dating the people in your camp, where are new partners supposed to come from? At first glance, it seems impossible. The obvious answer is that ancient humans simply married their relatives. And sometimes they did, but not nearly as often as you'd expect. Because your tiny tribe wasn't actually your entire world. It was more like one neighborhood inside a much larger network. A network of other camps, trading partners, and relatives stretching across hundreds of miles. The people in your camp weren't your only options. A couple of times a year, this entire network would meet up in one giant camp. Hundreds of people in one place. This was the ancient version of a massive school dance. People traded tools, told stories, and swapped members. You would lock eyes with a stranger from far away, and when the party ended, you might go home with their tribe. This constant mixing is exactly how humanity survived. But wait, that brings up a huge problem. If the big party only happened a few times a year, what do they do the rest of the time? There are 365 days in a year. If they were isolated in the woods for months at a time, were they forced to just do it inside their own tribe? Not really. Remember that invisible shield? It didn't just turn off because they were bored. Most of the time, they simply waited. Or occasionally, a small hunting party from another tribe would pass through and share their fire for a few days. Which brings us right back to our first mystery. What about all that free time? If they only worked a couple of hours a day, could they just hook up all the time when they did have a partner? Well, no. The problem wasn't a strict rule, it was food and energy. First, the physical act of intimacy itself burns a lot of calories. When you live in a freezing ice age, you don't waste precious energy just because you are bored. You save it for survival. Second, back then, there was no birth control. Having a relationship meant having a baby. And having a baby meant you needed way more food to survive. Every single piece of meat or fruit was precious. Ancient humans couldn't afford to have dozens of babies at once. The harsh weather and the constant struggle to keep enough calories in their bodies naturally kept things moving slowly. Humanity didn't conquer the world just because we figured out how to hunt, or because we learned how to build a fire. We survived because even in the freezing dark of the Ice Age, we knew how to wait. We waited for the network. We waited for the seasonal gathering. We waited for the stranger. We didn't need a million choices on a screen. We just needed the courage to look across the valley, find someone completely different, and share our fire.